I am. How about yourself?
Oh, doing fantastic. Absolutely. We got a lot to talk about today. Didn't really introduce you all too much. I wanted to kind of let yourself do that as I kind of set you up here on the screen. You'll see me in just a moment. I just wanted to give you this time right now to kind of introduce yourself and your career and background in the game of hockey.
I started out. I'm a Seattle, Washington native. Started out playing hockey there when I was younger, and worked my way up into junior B up in Canada. After that, I worked my way over east to Boston, Massachusetts. Played some junior hockey. Um, Finished that out. Went to Dana Webster College, which no longer exists. Got shut down with ITT Tech during the Obama administration. But spent 3 years there. 1 year we were NCAA independent. I coached Division three. I played my first year, which was also an independent year. Handful of Division three, handful of ACHA, and then our third year we played in the NEHC. It was a full-time assistant coach, which kind of sparked a lot of my interest in continuing this. And Anthony and I knew each other from playing our last year of juniors together. Our team ended up taking third in the country, I believe. Split our separate ways. He went to Franklin Pierce, played there, ended up meeting back at Daniel Webster. He came in and played with us the junior year. And then after our senior year of college, Anthony bought the Binghamton Junior Senators. It became the Elmira Junior Soaring Eagles, and now we're the Baystate Bobcats.
Yeah, so that's a lot of organizations that you've been involved in. From your playing past, was there a particular team or moment that stands out to you? What was the most exciting part of in your playing career?
Probably our push for a national championship. Our last year, Anthony and I uh, played in the NSHL, and we ended up making it to the finals against what was the Western States and kind of a Minnesota based league as well, and just kind of finding out it was one of the few teams that I played on that was just very, very successful, and kind of the difference between those teams that can compete and the teams that just win every single night. And their goals are national championships every year, and just kind of the culture and the players and everything that comes together to make a push like that was probably my best memory.
Yeah, that's awesome when you get to experience something at that high caliber, and the relationships definitely is a huge point. When you were a player, did you have a professional or another hockey player that you modeled your game around, or was it a combination of different things?
Oh, I like to pass. I like to play make. You know, I was more of a team guy. I don't think I ever really lit up the scoreboard incredibly, but I tried to play my role and be there for the guys, even keel, play the body a little bit, and like I said, if I could play make some passes and make the guys around me better. That was a lot of my focus growing up. Peter Forsberg was a big influence. I always loved Jerome McGinley. Um, in Seattle, we didn't have a professional team. We had major juniors. So a lot of my idols growing up and guys that I kind of wanted to play like were guys who played major junior. And even though, we were relatively the same age, it didn't matter. There's the caliber of players were impeccable to watch. And probably my favorite growing up was a family friend of ours, Thomas Hickey, who ended up playing for the Islanders for a handful of years. He's kind of fell out over the years, but despite me playing forward, he was his calm demeanor, his work ethic, everything that he put into it was impressive, and he made it to the highest level of hockey. Won a double IHF world championship or world junior championship with Team Canada, and I was drafted fourth overall. So that was a big idol for me.
It's a great list of guys that you can kind of model your game after. Was there a point in your playing career, maybe in college, as we have a couple of follows coming in here, Was there a point in your playing career where you kind of said, I kind of want to take this further and going to the coaching route and kind of get your feet wet, obviously at the NA3 level? Was there a particular moment where that clicked for you?
To be honest, I've never wanted to do anything other than coach hockey. It's the only thing I've ever really wanted to do. Growing up, I had a really good mentor by the name of Jamie Huscroft, who played anywhere from 13 to 15 years, maybe even been more in the NHL. And I spent a lot of time with him. He owned the rink closest to us, and I was a rink rat, so I was always there. And he was definitely someone that I looked up to and really explained to me, the rigors of all of it, and if you want to put everything into it. And I mean, he was such a positive influence, that my love for the game, and then meeting him and his success and how about to get there. It always drove me to try to be a better version of him if I could. I don't know if I ever could, but he was an incredible coach, incredible person. And he taught me so much about the game that, that from meeting him and on, that just doubled down that's all I ever wanted to do, is help players and help guys get better at hockey, and hopefully work my way up to working with the best hockey players that I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a really good place to start is at the NA3 level. I don't know if you feel this way, because there are young men who are growing into not only greater and bigger hockey players, but adults and people who are going to be an important part of our society, just a few years down the road. So I feel like that league particularly is special to kind of craft the young generation, not only as hockey players, but as grown men.
Absolutely. I think it's a fantastic place to learn. I mean, the coming from experiencing college hockey, the NEHC that year, we were one of, I think, 7 or 8 teams that wasn't ranked in the top 20 in the country. And seeing that kind of caliber of hockey is impressive. And to be honest, there's a lot of players in our league that can play at that highest of level. But at the same time, kind of like you said, it's semi an introductory level into the junior world. So you can get a very spread out diversity of character and caliber and all that. And yeah, I agree. I think the learning how to develop any and all of those players will just help continue to grow the ability to coach any player. And I guess that's the end of the day, right? Is as a coach, your ability to communicate to your players what it is that they should be doing to double down on their best skills and help them work their way up the ladder, be it the North American League or college.
So you've now been a part of the organization that is now the Baystate Bobcats, formerly the Elmira Junior Soaring Eagles, and formerly the Binghamton Senators. 3 different areas that you guys have kind of taken up over the last 3 years. Has that been a challenge to kind of go from one city to the next year in and year out? Or is that something that's easily adaptable to?
I think it's difficult no matter what. The junior landscape is difficult because, for example, there's not a lot of times that you can just stick guys in apartments. We have to give them help, provide billet families, and some structure, because the guys are a little bit younger, could be their first years away from home. And it's one of those where they're young, they need to be in an environment where they can be helped and monitored. And it's difficult to provide that environment sometimes, dependent on where your rink is and where the opportunity is. So it's never easy. But I think because we run our program the right way, and because we just work tirelessly to make sure that we can provide the best for our guys, that kind of works.
Right. And obviously, this season coming up is going to be much different from any other hockey season I think anybody's involved with. Uh, what are some of the challenges that COVID-19, especially for somebody who's involved in a heavy recruiting process, how has COVID-19 affected the schedule? How has it affected your recruiting for the team? What are some of the things that stand out that make it much more difficult this year?
The recruiting factor was it was interesting because at the same time you have less opportunities to go out and scout. Um, those people out, who would go to those showcases, they're still looking for teams. So we have had a plethora of people kind of reach out, which isn't, that doesn't end up being the majority of the team. The majority of the team is definitely out handpicked and recruited. But we have had a bit of interest just coming to us, I think, from the lack of ice and opportunities. For the combines and the tryouts that I have been to, I was just at Danbury's NA camp this last weekend. The CDC came through and laid down how they want everything done, and they got it in line. And, we were able to play a couple weekends in a row. I think that's the second or third event that they've been able to get through. So it gives us a lot of confidence that we'll be able to make sure this season happens, and it happens kind of the right way. I think we owe that to the parents and kids to make sure that it's done the right way. And I think that we're kind of doing all we can to make sure that's all in line. I mean, it makes it harder with scheduling, obviously. Some things got to get mixed around, but that's why we're on league calls every Monday. Where our scheduling matrix is always open for some little changes and stuff, and everyone more than anything is willing to work together and be cognizant of the fact that other people are going to have problems rescheduling. And as long as everybody works together, I don't see a reason why it can't be a smooth transition and a great season.
I would agree. I think that what the league has already done with all the different teams is really strong, smart. They've made good decisions, and I like the way that the schedule is delayed a little bit, make sure that everything gets done correctly. You've been a part of a franchise now that's been very successful over the last 2 years. Division champions 2 years ago, competitive last year. It was really down to the last weekend. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that happen. What do you attribute your and Anthony's success with this franchise that's been over the last couple of years?
Everyone goes out and recruits. I think everyone works hard. I think a lot of us have similar resources, but one of the things we double down on is we double our ice. There's a lot of teams that will practice once a day. We practice twice a day. We have a skills session and then a team practice after that. And then in between those, we'll have video. And after the final practice, we'll have a workout. And I think a difficult schedule like that, which is mainly derived from a lot of the NAHL teams that I communicate with. The reality is our schedule is built like that. Our daily schedule is built like that so that we're better able at allowing players to understand the schedule at the next level. And then when they get the opportunity to go up there, they're able to handle the day. I think the two skates, the skills focus, all the time that the team spends together, which is highly important, that they can get along and problem solve together. They don't have to all be best friends, but they have to be able to come together as a group. And all the extra time that they spend together, all the ice time, we break down a lot of those barriers, and we're able to really get through to the team and have the team mentality that everyone's got some good points and everyone's got some things they got to work on. But at the end of the day, when Friday, Saturday comes, we all have to double down and say, this is what I do well for the team. I'm going to go do it. And, some things are your responsibility and some things aren't. Now, does that mean that everybody can't score? Absolutely not. But the reality is, one thing that our players have been able to do last year was a little bit tougher because we lost some of our leaders like Eric Melso, who was at Morrisville this year, had a great year. Mikey Pageant was great for this year. Before, we had some newer guys in who were a little bit older, but didn't necessarily have the experience. So that was a wild ride. But as of now, it looks like we're gonna be getting guys like Javon Fogelgren, who was great for us, Sam Miller, who was a stud on D, Ian Skinner, who was a strong player from New Jersey for us, and a guy who's an absolute speedster, John Coast. It looks like they'll all be coming back to us. And with the ability to build the team around them, we should be looking at a very strong season next year in this division.
Yeah, it's an expanded division. Obviously, Baystate now in a different location than last year. You add the New Jersey team in there. It's going to be an exciting year in the Northeast at the NA3 level. Season kicks off October 9th. Trevor, it's a pleasure having you on the show today. Any parting words, any place to find you on social media? Other than that, it was great to have you on.
I don't have a whole lot of social media. Just follow Baystate, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Baystate Bobcats Junior A Hockey. Thank you for the time, Jack. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on, Trevor. Pleasure to meet you in person, and we'll see you very soon.
All right. Thanks, Jack. Take care.
Have a